Today I'm going to take a look at the ART Tube MPC. It's a combination microphone preamp, compressor, limiter, and DI box. Now the idea of having effects added in with a microphone preamp is not a new one. In fact, this started out with consoles and studios where we had many channels, each with its own set of effects. And that's gradually migrated into various outboard gear that'll do the same thing for us. Now they come in all price ranges. This model from ART is affordable, so let's take a look. Now, whether you're recording vocals, spoken word, or instruments, having compression in the analog domain before the converters in your audio interface can help prevent clipping and ensure you get good quality recordings and live stream sound. So whether you're a live streamer trying to save a few CPU cycles, or you're recording music to sit in a mix later on, everyone can benefit from hardware processing on the way in. Now, this isn't a brand new unit, but I will show you what comes in the box. And starting out, the box is of a good quality. It'll get to you safely. Then we have the preamp compressor itself. ART is known for good build quality, and this is all aluminum construction with rubber sides and feet. All of the dials are mounted directly to the chassis. The buttons are PCB mounted, but they feel solid. You'll note all the connectors are also mounted directly to the chassis. So this is going to be durable for use if you have to plug and unplug or make adjustments all the time. You also get a 9-volt AC adapter. It's not DC, so you have to make sure you use their adapter, and you get a manual as well. Now, taking a look at the front panel on this unit, we can see it's divided into 3 sections. We have the preamp, optical compressor limiter, and the output stage. Now, starting out with the preamp section, we have a gain control, and that gives us from 0 to 40 dB of gain. Now, there's a button we can press to add in an extra 20 dB of gain, and then the control will operate from 20 dB to plus 60 dB. We also have the ability here to engage a high-pass filter, so in other words, low cut. It's at 70 Hertz, and it has a 6 decibel per octave roll-off, so that's really nice to have. The tube drive indicator is not a gain meter. This shows us how much impact the tube is having on the signal. So if you want to get a clean sound, you want to ensure that you have the green light or nothing lit up, whereas if you want some warmth, some saturation or coloration, that's where it's nice to have it kind of sitting in that mid-yellow range there. There's also a jack for connecting an instrument because this can be used as a DI box. So really nice if we want to record directly in using this instead of miking up an amplifier. Then we get into the compressor section, which is based on ART's famous Pro VLA opto compressor. It uses a Vactral circuit to provide really smooth, transparent compression. Now, the first thing you'll notice is we do have a gain reduction meter, so we can see just how much compression is being applied. And so we have the option of using this either in the compress or limit mode. That's controlled by the slope control. In the compress mode, it gives us about a 2-to-1, actually measure about a 2.3-to-1 compression. And in the limit mode, it's about 11-to-1. So not really fully abrupt, but definitely gets the job done. Now we have limited control. We have threshold, which really adjusts how much compression is going to happen and when it's going to start. And then we have a speed control. And the fast control really is meant for using recordings with drums, with anything that's really very percussive. Whereas the auto mode gives us a broad range of use, so whether it's vocals, acoustic guitar, spoken word, or even using this as an insert in the mix, it'll get the job done there. And then we get into the output section where we have an additional 20 dB of gain available for a total of 80 dB across this entire unit. So plenty of gain here to drive just about anything we want to connect. Now you see on the output control, we have the ability to add gain or to attenuate the signal. So depending on how we want to stage our gain, this is going to be really helpful. There's also an output meter here, and this is calibrated at a pro level. So when you see the yellow LED with 0 light up, that means we still have about 12 dB of headroom available. You also see a phase invert switch, so if we want to test the phase back and forth, we can do that. Now looking at the back panel of the Tube MPC, we can see that we have a control for main power as well as phantom power. Now the phantom power gives us 48 volts to run condenser microphones. I would have liked to have seen this control on the front of the unit, but I guess it just wasn't a good spot to put it. Then the power input is 9 volts AC, and so you can use the included adapter as I showed earlier, but if you want to use your own power supply, it's very important to make sure here that you have 9 volts AC with at least 1 amp or 1000 milliamps available. Now looking at the input and output connections, we can see that they are all mounted directly to the aluminum chassis, so keeping up with ART's high build quality, this is going to ensure they're really solid when we need to plug and unplug our cables. Now the input jack is a balanced XLR type, and for output, we have balanced XLR, which is transformer isolated, That's really great if we want to use it for DI and avoid any kind of ground loops. And we also have an unbalanced 1/4-inch jack. You'll also see a control for output, whether at line level or instrument level. So if you want to use this for connection directly into a mixer or an interface or into an instrument amplifier, ART's got you covered here. Now that we've had a chance to check out the features, controls, and connections on the Tube MPC, let's go ahead and listen to its preamps only without any added processing. Today I'm taking a look at a combination preamplifier and compressor. Now I'll be silent so you can hear the noise floor. The Tube MPC preamplifier compressor is a multi-purpose tool for audio engineering and recording. Now I'll be silent so you can hear the noise floor. Enclosed in a tabletop chassis are 2 independent circuits featuring a tube-based analog preamplifier and a VCA-less compressor with optical gain reduction control. Now I'll be silent so you can hear the noise floor. Now I leveled out the gains as close as possible, and hopefully you could hear the added saturation when I added the tube in. Now we'll go ahead and listen to the compressor. I have samples with both the fast and auto mode, and we'll hear it again with just the solid-state preamp and the tube. The Tube MPC preamplifier compressor is a multi-purpose tool for audio engineering and recording. Enclosed in a tabletop chassis are 2 independent circuits featuring a tube-based analog preamplifier and a VCA-less compressor with optical gain reduction control. The Tube MPC preamplifier compressor is a multi-purpose tool for audio engineering and recording. Enclosed in a tabletop chassis are 2 independent circuits featuring a tube-based analog preamplifier and a VCA-less compressor with optical gain reduction control. Now, having some soft compression on the way in while you're recording is really nice and make mixing a lot easier. And if you're on a live stream or performance, that compression can save you from clipping where you can't go back. Now the question is, at such an affordable price, how does the Tube MPC stack up? So I have a comparison for you with the Universal Audio 710 Twin-Finity. That's a much more expensive preamplifier that has both transformer and tube circuits. The Tube MPC preamplifier compressor is a multi-purpose tool for audio engineering and recording. Now I'll be silent so you can hear the noise floor. Enclosed in a tabletop chassis are 2 independent circuits featuring a tube-based analog preamplifier and a VCA-less compressor with optical gain reduction control. Now I'll be silent so you can hear the noise floor of the Universal Audio 710 Twin-Finity. The Tube MPC preamplifier compressor is a multi-purpose tool for audio engineering and recording. Now I'll be silent so you can hear the noise floor. Enclosed in a tabletop chassis are 2 independent circuits featuring a tube-based analog preamplifier and a VCA-less compressor with optical gain reduction control. Now I'll be silent so you can hear the noise floor of the Universal Audio 710 Twin-Finity. And after listening to the noise floor, coloration, and saturation of both these preamps, let me know what you think in the comments below. Now I'll let you hear what a track sounds like recorded through the instrument input here on the Tube MPC. I've gone ahead and thrown on the Metal Machine 1x12 cabinet as well as a little bit of reverb so you get an idea of what to expect. Now we'll take a look at the self noise of this preamp. I'll use Isotope's RX9 voice denoise and a 150 ohm resistor in place of a microphone. Now you can see that the overall noise floor jumped significantly when I engaged the tube stage, but in all cases with maximum gain without the tube we stayed under -90, and with the tube engaged well under -80, both of these are very usable. And I'll also mention that I tested this preamp with my SM7B in an isolation box and a 1 kHz test tone, and I found that I was able to achieve about a 64 decibel separation between the tone signal and the noise floor with a gain at around 75%. Now, having a mic pre with compression and built-in DI functions is a great way to improve the quality of your recordings and your live performances. Plus, it can be an affordable way to get into analog gear. And if you want to take things a step further and add up de-essing and EQ, go ahead and check out one of these channel strips or plugins.